Desperation has a smell. Not a literal one, but something close enough that people pick it up almost instantly, in the way someone texts back too fast, in the way someone laughs a little too hard at things that are not that funny, in the way someone agrees with everything you say before you have even finished saying it. You cannot always name it in the moment, but you feel it. In the moment you feel it, something inside you pulls back. That pulling back is not cruelty. It is instinct. And the painful irony of desperation is that the very thing a person is reaching for, connection, love, approval, opportunity, a sense of being wanted, gets pushed further away the harder they reach for it. Desperation does not attract the things you want. It repels them with a consistency that is almost mathematical. The reason desperation is so visible to everyone except the person experiencing it is rooted in psychology. When we want something badly enough, when our sense of safety or worth or belonging feels tied to a particular outcome, the brain enters a scarcity state. And in that scarcity state, every action we take gets quietly distorted. We over-explain ourselves in conversations because we are terrified of being misunderstood. We check our phone every few minutes because the silence feels like rejection. We say yes to things we should say no to because we are afraid that saying no will cost us the thing we are trying to hold on to. We shrink ourselves, perform ourselves, contort ourselves into whatever shape we think the other person or situation needs us to be. And all of that contortion, all of that anxious effortful reaching, broadcasts one very clear signal to everyone around us, that we do not believe we are enough as we are. And people, consciously or not, tend to take you at your own assessment. Think about the last time you wanted something so badly that the wanting itself became a problem. Maybe it was a job and you over-prepared to the point where you sounded rehearsed in the interview rather than genuine. Maybe it was a relationship and the anxiety of potentially losing the person made you cling in ways that eventually made them pull away. Maybe it was a friendship you were trying so hard to maintain that the effort itself started to feel exhausting to the other person. In every one of those cases, the desire was not the issue. Wanting things is human and healthy and necessary. The issue was the energy underneath the wanting, the frantic, white-knuckled quality of a need that had become so loud it was drowning out everything else, including your own judgment, your own instincts, your own sense of who you actually are outside of this thing you are so desperately trying to get. There is a concept in psychology called non-attachment, and it is one of the most misunderstood ideas in the self-development space because people confuse it with not caring. Non-attachment does not mean you stop wanting things or that you become indifferent to outcomes. It means you pursue what you want from a place of wholeness rather than a place of lack. It means the thing you are chasing does not have the power to determine your value or your peace. And the extraordinary paradox of operating from that place is that you become magnetic in a way that desperation never could make you. When you are genuinely okay whether something works out or not, when you have a full enough relationship with yourself that no single person or opportunity carries the weight of your entire self-worth, something shifts in how you show up. You become calmer, more present, more honest, less performative. And people feel that too, the same way they feel desperation, except in the opposite direction. Instead of pulling back, they lean in. The people who consistently attract what they want in life, good relationships, good opportunities, good friendships, are almost never the ones trying the hardest. They are the ones who have developed what can only be described as a quiet confidence in their own worth that does not require external validation to stay intact. They follow up on a job application once and then genuinely let it go. They express interest in a person clearly and directly and then give that person space to respond without flooding them with messages in the meantime. They show up to situations as themselves, fully, without editing or performing, and they trust that the people and opportunities meant for them will recognize that. And when something does not work out, they do not collapse or spiral or conclude that they are fundamentally unlovable or unworthy. They adjust, they move forward, and they keep going. That is not luck. That is the product of knowing yourself well enough that you do not need the world to constantly confirm your value back to you. What most desperate people are actually suffering from is not an excess of wanting. It is a deficit of self. Somewhere along the way, usually long before adulthood, they learned that their worth was conditional, that love had to be earned, that belonging was something you had to perform your way into rather than something you deserved simply by existing. And so they developed strategies, people-pleasing, overachieving, shrinking, performing, constantly adjusting themselves to fit whatever they thought was required of them in any given situation. Those strategies made sense once, in the environments where they were developed. But carried into adult life they become the very thing that keeps the connection and love and belonging perpetually out of reach. Because you cannot receive real love as a performance. You can only receive it as yourself. And until you become willing to show up as yourself, fully and without apology, the desperation will remain, quietly pushing away the exact things you most want to pull close. The way out of desperation is not to want less. It is to build more. More self-trust. More self-knowledge. More of a life that feels genuinely yours, independent of whether any particular person or opportunity chooses you. It is to get so honest with yourself about who you are and what you actually value that you stop needing everyone else to confirm it for you. It is to practice, slowly and imperfectly, the radical act of showing up as you are and letting that be enough. Not because you have stopped caring about outcomes, but because you have finally started caring enough about yourself that your peace is no longer for sale to whoever is withholding the thing you want most.